Hello and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the podcast where we travel to distant planets and perhaps, did we make it there? I don't know. Send a third, fourth, fifth mission. I'm Adam.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Mike.
And we are talking today about Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles, an OG classic that I somehow missed, except for I taught one of the short stories or one of the sections from it. If you've never listened to him before, we are going to be imbibing something themed from the book and then talking about the story. And I'm going to throw it to Mike here because he was gracious enough to pick up this week's offerings.
Yeah, so at several points in the book, characters are referenced as drinking sherry and or Amontillado, which I think is similar to or a variation of sherry, though I don't claim to be an expert at all.
It's more than I know.
I only know what comes in a cask.
And that it has alcohol in
You don't want to be in it.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. People tend to get bricked up in those. It's not good. Not good for anyone. All right, so I went to the local sherry dispenser, which is a massive liquor store, and they had exactly 4 bottles of it, 3 of which were cream sherry. And after doing a little bit of reading online, I decided that we would not like that at all and that we had a better chance with dry sherry. So that's what we have, a bottle of dry sherry here. Should I read the tasting notes? Is that something we're interested in?
I think you must.
Always,
okay.
Yeah.
It's become a thing.
All right, so this is a classically styled pale dry sherry with nuances of roasted nuts. It is great as an aperitif, and that is it for your tasting notes.
Surgeon General's warning, do not drink if you're pregnant.
The rest of this is just that they have been making superior ports and sherries dating back to 1880.
Okay.
So it's related to port?
I couldn't tell you
Could be
that.
the white version of a port.
Ooh.
I like the aperitif mention there.
Yeah.
I could go for a good
A little
aperitif.
classier. Yeah, as we're having like anise pizzelles and everything. By the way, thank you.
Put my ascot on and...
Yeah. I did not come dressed appropriately to this Dickensian feast.
Well, I know
we
you
have.
can't hear it in the background, but I have the log fire crackling, and we've got the mulling spices in the air, and
And I know you
holiday
can't.
time.
I know you can't smell it in the background, but we're all smoking pipes, of course. So
Of course
there's
we
that
are.
warm tobacco smell. And
Yeah.
The rich leather of these chairs we're sitting in.
Yep. Begging for another lump of coal as my fingers are freezing. I like how you guys went with like the Victorian version of like a really nice afternoon, and I'm like, this is hell. No, it's not hell here, but I just always pick the negative. That's just
Actually,
me.
We're in Costco folding chairs
That's
at a folding
fine.
table in a basement that's partially finished but full of shits.
Full disclosure. Or choose your own adventure. However you like to picture us. That's what we're doing.
You know what we should offer is we should offer like Zoom backgrounds for people to picture us in.
Ooh.
Like just 3 or 4 like nice settings. Actually, Mike, you did that with one. There's a really nice Cthulhu recording studio where
right.
you, for a while you were playing with like
That's
smoke
right.
and neon lights and us.
That's right. Yeah, that was in the early days of AI imaging. I actually should go back to that because it seems like it's advanced quite a bit.
I think
Give
so.
us an eldritch horror like living like den. You know, like a really nice, homey eldritch den.
I'm sure I could do that by typing in a few words exactly along the lines of what you just described and hitting
Perfect.
Yes.
return.
Thank you, Nano Banana 5.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said Eldritch Den, the first thing I thought of was a cave with bones scattered across the floor.
I meant like smoking parlor.
It took me a while. I got there though eventually. Yeah.
All right, well,
Let's taste this
let's
up.
pop the cork on this. Always love the cork sound. Oh, yeah.
That's one of those fine wines.
Oh, that was beautiful. All right, gentlemen, glasses. Should we do a tasting pour first and then a more proper pour?
But of course.
Yeah. I mean, despite me making jokes about Eldritch Dens here, we are not heathens.
Do we need to let this breathe?
If you're drinking regular wine, you smell it once, then you swirl it, and you smell it again.
I just did that. It's got a little bit of honey in it.
Step 2
almost
out of 3
a
here.
mead kind of a...
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, definitely getting that.
But there is a, honestly, if you had stuck my nose in this and not told me what it was, I might have said port. Like, there is that sort of...
There's
Like
honey wine.
sweet alcohol sort of smell on it. we are already frowning.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like
Except for Sean, who's done. He's done drank
I
it.
don't mind it. I don't mind it.
What was the other one where we're like, this is not great, and then by glass 3 we're like, let's keep going.
Yeah. Oh, was it? No, it wasn't the barley wine.
No, we all like the barley wine.
Yeah, we did like the barley wine. What the fuck
No, I think we all like sake too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This has almost a sake kind of after, like that dry after bite.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I better taste this. I will say that I like the color. I do not like the smell. We'll see how I feel about the taste.
It's got an oaky color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't come in a box.
It's not terrible.
Not a fan.
Mikey likes it.
It's like a sweeter port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a $2 chuck in a glass.
Yes.
Bottle.
Yes. I would agree with that.
A little bit more sherry.
Yes. Let's do proper pours now, and
If you guys
Sean can guzzle it down joyfully, and I'll choke this down.
He's the one staying home, so
Sean is often the one who has to choke these beverages down on our cast, so it's only fair that
it is. Yeah. Hopefully, well, since he was in charge of later casts beer, I hope he didn't pick another hoppy beer for himself.
Oh, I picked something. We'll enjoy it when the time comes.
Lovely.
Indeed.
I'm looking forward to it.
Somewhere in March, we'll enjoy that.
Yep.
And the other positive here for the listeners at home is that we are drinking these out of these gorgeous Buffalo Bills, or just Buffalo. Oh, they are Buffalo Bills.
No, those are. Well, you guys got.
You
the
and I
good
have the
glasses.
marbled glasses.
Those are artisanal. Whatever. My wife bought them at an art craft show, and they're hand painted bisons on them.
They're beautiful.
Mine is a glass that I received from my wife's lovely Aunt Pat for Christmas. I know she's never going to listen to this, but I got a really cool Bills wine glass and a stopper, and I wanted to use it because it is a Bills game today.
It's Buffalo Bills game day.
It is.
Bills.
Go Bills. Go Bills. I'll tell you what, I am definitely holding my breath for today.
Well, I'll also take a shout out to Za Bills Nation out there.
Always.
You guys are crossover listeners of ours. I'm on that. I guess I got elevated to the 52-man roster on that.
Whoa.
So I'm on there quite
Off
a
the
bit.
practice team, huh?
Thank you, yeah.
Let's go.
They brought me on board, so I'm a multi-cast guy regularly. And
you're just expanding your, what we call it, a social media portfolio, or
I guess you'd say
influencer portfolio?
Sure.
Expanding his podcast portfolio here.
They're gracious enough to have me occupy one of their mic stations and blather on about my favorite football team. But if you guys have never listened to Za Bills and their coverage of the best football team in the NFL and their local pizzas of choice, it gives you some good tasting ideas about pizza. They're also found on YouTube. They do live videos and things. So definitely check out Za Bills when you get a chance.
Love it. We give you the tasting notes for alcohol, and they give you the tasting notes for pizza.
Yeah. Compare those pizzas with the alcohol we tell you about.
Yeah.
And then read one of those books.
Read
and
a
then
book.
watch the Bills. Oh my God.
That's a whole weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? And especially this time of year, there's a winter storm warning tonight to Tuesday, 4 a.m. tonight to 1 a.m. Tuesday. Just lock yourself in. Maybe not with the sherry. I'll let you know after a glass.
It's a 2 chicken and a case of beer.
Yeah.
And, what's that guy? The old mayor of Buffalo there. What was his name?
Oh, shoot. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the guy would say, "Stay home, get a chicken.
Stay home, get a chicken,
case of beer,
get a case of beer, throw it out in the snow, and you're good."
Yeah.
Of course, we say all this, but even as we speak, we're being listened to by somebody with headphones on who's on a beach right now.
Huh.
Oh, for sure. By the way, super jealous. Enjoy that Mai Tai.
Somewhere in Croatia. Jimmy Griffin.
Jimmy
Mayor
Griffin. There we go.
Jimmy
Griffin.
That was the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, shall we on to the book?
Let's do.
All right. So Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. So Sean suggested it, and yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
I don't
You
even
were
remember.
you were like, we should go back because we haven't done an OG one. We've been doing a lot of modern stuff,
That was
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry. So Mike suggested
I
it.
didn't need credit or not, but just that was me who said that. What did we read last? And
Sanderson.
that's right. And I
Yeah.
said okay, it's been a while since we had done something classic, and this came up as a suggestion. So
Yeah, and so I was familiar just because of Fahrenheit 451. When I had 8th grade or maybe 9th grade, I also did There Will Come Soft Rains.
Yes.
Because that was in the anthology back before you could look up any short story on the internet and fair use it. But that is literally the extent of my Ray Bradbury knowledge. So I found out a little bit in researching the book, and then it'll come out as we talk. But how about you guys? Were you Mike? So Bradbury fan?
I had read Fahrenheit. I'd never taught it. I had just read it once on my own. I don't remember if it was, by choice or if it was for a class. I can't recall. I don't even remember that much about that book other than I enjoyed reading it at the time. I think that might be it for my Bradbury experience. Is he also the author who did, what's the one with like the devil and
Something Wicked This Way?
Yeah, is that Bradbury?
Yes, that is him too.
So that's kind of been vaguely on my list as I might be interested for years, but I've not actually read it. And this book that we're about to talk about has also been on my list. And so I finally took the plunge for this cast. But that's it. Not a deep history.
All right.
I
Sean?
was not expecting to be the resident Bradbury expert today, but apparently I am. I read Martian Chronicles in 10th grade with my honors English teacher, who was a huge Bradbury fan. We had us read this. I said, quote unquote, read it, because I don't remember much of it from that era. I had read Fahrenheit 451 in 9th grade, I think. And then as a teacher, I've taught like There Will Come Soft Rains, The Veldt, The Pedestrian, various short stories, Sound of Thunder, things like that, always find their way into our anthology English teacher collections. But this is probably the first time I've read Bradbury since I last taught Fahrenheit when I taught 9th grade. It has to be over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I used to do, there were maybe 3 years where I did Fahrenheit at 9th grade, and I loved it. I really liked the story. I feel like it's a more, I don't want to say more accessible 1984, but like in many ways, maybe because it's more action driven than 1984. Love teaching it, but it just I never found a way to make it hit home to the kids, despite AirPods being in everyone's ears in the hallways.
I think that their ability to correlate the trends and ideas of the book to the actual things that they see versus how he described them, I don't think they can quite make that logical leap at that age.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because he really was very prescient in a lot of his ideas. And that's my like big overarching take on Bradbury, and I'll probably come back to this a few times as we talk about it, and this might seem, I'll just do it now.
Sure.
This might seem sacrilegious for me to say this as a student of English, as a teacher of English, as a reader, prolific and all that. Bradbury is a very accomplished writer, and no one can ever take that away from him. But I will say he is not a very good writer. And I'm going to be honest with you.
I've said similar of King.
So I think Stephen King could write circles around Ray Bradbury. I think Bradbury is a guy who had a love for reading, grew up in a library, as he said in many interviews.
UC Berkeley, right? Or something like that?
He typed Fahrenheit 451 on a rentable typewriter in the basement of Berkeley.
Popping dimes into it.
Yeah, and it got published in Playboy along the way in serial. Yeah. It's kind of how you did back in the day, but I feel like he's a guy who is almost like he's writing fan fiction in some regards to a lot of his own ideas, which his ideas are incredible. The guy was almost like an Asimov when it comes to envisioning the future. So he was definitely a futurist idea generator. But his writing, it's almost like a pastiche of poetry in a lot of ways, and it takes me out of it too many times. Everything is wine. You ever notice that?
It's a lot of
Everything
wine.
is fucking wine. Like, Jesus, Ray, is that the only descriptor you've got for describing something liquid? It's like wine or honey. It's the same thing.
I'm trying to think of what else was. I'm going to flip through the book now.
All the time, but that's my biggest complaint.
I agree with what you're saying. It works at certain points. There were, some haunting images in the book. I remember toward the end, one of the final stories is, the image of like the guy who built his family after his family had passed away and had been living with them for like 20 years. And that story ends with this like gorgeously haunting image of, he's passed away, the other humans leave, and the family remains, and it just describes them like still feeding logs into the fire indefinitely, possibly forever, and it's like, you said poetry, it's a very poetic image. Yeah. So it does work at points. But on the whole, I would agree that the prose is not a thing I was terribly impressed with.
That imagery is also kind of a trope of Bradbury. Like, so many of his stories have our creations keep going long after we're gone. Like There Will Come Soft Rains, right? The house just keeps going after the nuclear apocalypse and all that stuff. So he almost like plays on his own themes too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of what I'm going to already say didn't work for me in this book, is that when I read the intro to my version, which is the hardcover, I don't know what year it was, but introduction by the author actually with it. So Bradbury saying that, like, I just used to like to sit down and I'd randomly write about Mars. And then my publisher's like, you should put that together. And for like the first 70% of it, it kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he said the topic is Mars and I'm going to write for 30 minutes. Go. Okay. He said the topic is Mars and I'm going to write for 15 minutes. Go.
Right.
You know, and then like we just had the Mars notebook that got published.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it a serial collection of some short stories he had done?
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of everything is what he said. So like a bunch of them did get published. Some of them were his just writings. And I think that what ended up happening for me is that you could see him practicing some of his ideas in the short stories. And they just happened. Like, I actually think the edition was arranged well so that you can actually see the arc of humanity on Mars, which is really kind of cool. I never realized that about the book until I got to the end, you know, because I wasn't paying attention to the dates for each entry until the end when it was way later.
Right.
I liked some of the ideas individually, and maybe that's why maybe I'm just going back to thinking about it like short stories. But we can talk about kind of the stories that stand out to us in a second, because, you know, I'm already kind of given the arc of the story plot here where, you know, we're first talking about humans arriving on Mars. There's a story where we talk about building the buildings. There's much to be said about socially who came first, who came second, who came third, and why that maybe led to the fall of Mars and everything. And then there's just the whole destruction of humanity by itself, which features in Fahrenheit 451. It features in this book. I don't remember if I haven't read the other books to know if it's in like Something Wicked or something like that, but pretty much Bradbury's like, no, we're going to kill ourselves.
He likes genocide apparently of the entire human race.
Yeah, via nuclear weapons only.
He worked of the Cold War, so that nuclear annihilation specter informs so much of his works. Just like you said, Fahrenheit, The Belt, There Will Come Soft Rains, this book, every single one of them seems to have that in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, so like maybe we can talk about the ideas, because it seems like we like the ideas more than the prose, which is fine. I do think the prose was overly wrought in some of the phrases.
Well, and to be clear, I did like the prose very much, but again, only in very specific moments where he was creating a very, you know, another, I can pinpoint a whole bunch of these, but another example would be another story from toward the end where it's like that house that's still standing.
Oh no. I like that. I want to talk about that one.
There is a fall of a house in the story I'm
Usher too.
But it's the house that's still standing and functioning amidst the ruins of the city. And it makes eggs for breakfast every morning, and like the little mechanized mice come out and clean shit up, and it's still protecting itself when it hears strange voices, like the windows close and all that stuff. You know, at certain moments, that prose actually really works and is effective, because there were times where I was reading it, you know, and I was just like, this is like reading a poem. It's a very powerful image with a very powerful idea behind it. It's just that it's prose that you turn on at the right moment. Whereas I felt like you're saying, I think like a lot of it felt very canned because it was constantly the prose.
It insists.
You know, there's a reference we have. I'm going to give a bell.
There you go. Yeah. Deserved. You know, I think as a writer, there's a hard line between having a consistent voice and turning off the poetry.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that I could do it. I feel like having written myself, like I would find it being like a form of inconsistency if I stopped being so poetic.
Right.
If I started that way. Mine is more trashetic than poetic, but I kind of understand like maybe why it didn't get edited out or edited down a little bit, but
it's also because at the time I think the genre was not taken very seriously as a literary genre.
Good point.
Right? Like, we do that now.
You had the dime store or the Pulp Fiction sci-fi books.
So I think at the time they were probably not thinking so much about language as much as ideas, right? Because at the same time that he's writing, you have your Faulkners and your Hemingways and everything, and there's a lot more attention paid to prose, but that was considered literary at the time. It's a fairly recent development that things like sci-fi and fantasy and horror have all come to be like respected in the literary community.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Weird thing about Bradbury's prose is that I've always had a hard time forming the mental image. And again, it's weird because of how poetic and descriptive he is. But I feel like his descriptions are so abstract that it's like I can only get like fuzzy images of what the things would be. And even reading a whole book like this, and you get an idea what the Martians look like after a little while, or like their towns and the canals and all that stuff. But it's so hazy just because of the style. I had a hard time.
I agree with that, but I will say that I like that because I got the sense that he was going for a sort of surrealness to it.
Yeah.
And the more the more attention he had given to like visual imagery and details, I think would have taken away from like the philosophy and the poeticism that he was striving for. I liked having to pause and like really try to imagine these things because they weren't spelled out in specific detail, but that just depends on the reader.
Well, that's why I maintain that I think he was a better idea generator than he was a writer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I also was given the benefit of the doubt, imagining a sparse Mars that, even though we had populated it with multiple rockets and then people had procreated on Mars, I still imagined it mostly empty.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking for too much description, I guess, in that way.
I agree. Like, I like the idea of them, like, driving a boat down the canals, for example, going through all these, quote, dead cities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want him to describe those dead cities in too much detail because then it takes away from the power of that image. Like, I want to picture what that looked like because that makes it more kind of haunting and like it's not quite real. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like that surrealness I think was powerful too.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you picture when you saw Dead Cities? Puts him on the spot.
So what did you picture exactly?
Well, I mean, because there you go. Yeah.
I honestly, now that you've got me thinking about it, I pictured in my head sort of like our sort of like northeastern, like rundown, like post-steel cities.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like a Pittsburgh or a Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
I did picture,
Rust Belt that never came back.
As I pictured them going through the canal, I kind of pictured like the silos and like the docks and stuff on the side. I hadn't really thought about it till you said that, but that is the imagery, that came to my mind.
I stuck with frontiers towns. Like that's what I saw, like Wild West. So yes, canals, but even the canals were like fed wood troughs or something similar. Even though they described the towns as being like 1950s, like suburbia, eventually in the middle of the book, I couldn't shake that image. And maybe it's because of the way they described the first rockets and like the first men as being like the men of the West here to pioneer and all of that sort of thing. Yeah.
Sean, was it Osgiliath or was that just a?
No, I always thought it was like like adobe kind of like freeforms, like clay sculpted type of stuff. I guess I don't know.
Three completely different interpretations. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll chalk one up for Bradbury there because that's pretty cool to be able to do that.
Ray. Do you know he died on our birthday?
I did not realize
he died on our birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He just figured, what better day?
Yeah.
This is, the ones who come before me, I'm not worthy to touch their sandals. So.
Now, to the year or just the day of?
No. It was like 2090 something.
I feel like
I didn't realize he lived that long.
That's older than I expected, for sure.
It was like early 2000s, I think he passed away.
Oh, so he had a good run.
2012. He died on our birthday in 2012.
So he saw the creation of seashells, and that's it.
Yeah, and he looks like Colonel Sanders.
Oh my God, he does.
A little bit.
Wow.
A little bit.
Just put a different tie on him.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of looks like a used car salesman.
A little bit.
In the best way, Ray.
You know what? Why don't you kick the tires, guys? Guys, just kick the tires. Give it a try. Here's the keys.
When you turn this thing on, it's like wine.
That engine's gonna purr like a automated dog that'll hunt you down to your death and inject you with a needle from its mouth. That's a different story, though. So I guess let's talk about ideas, since we keep saying like the ideas.
Shoot bees at you.
It'll shoot. That's a different book, isn't it?
No, that was this.
Oh, I forgot about the bees.
One Martian went hunting for the spacemen, and he killed them with his bee shooting whatever.
That's right. That's the only gun that's really described. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like he had a gun. He pulled the trigger. There was that gun smell.
Yes.
The gun smell.
I want to have some more sherry. You guys
Please
get
do.
that reference, by the way?
Nope, but I'm going along with it.
You didn't watch old Saturday Night Live when Dan Aykroyd would play Julia Childs? And he'd be like, out there like doing his thing, and they're like, oh, just a little bit more sherry. And he's like pouring more wine into his own mouth, and then he like cuts his finger off, and he's bleeding everywhere. He's like, oh, just need more sherry.
No, I don't
A little bit of blood here. Every time
I can see that working
I
out.
think about it. It's so good.
I mean, Dan Aykroyd and drag. What wouldn't sell, right?
I bet you there's a point where Aykroyd might have worked on one of Bradbury's television shows. He did that Bradbury Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And
That'd be a crazy crossover.
Omnibudsman here.
There you go. Ombudsman's
while you're looking
gonna.
that up, and since you brought up TV shows,
Mhm.
I will say that one of the things I really liked about this book is that so many of the stories felt very much like a classic Twilight Zone episode to me.
I got that feeling
Did you
too.
get that same?
Yeah,
Like, I
for
think
sure.
I had mentioned to Sean when we were having a previous discussion about it that in like half of these stories, I wouldn't have been surprised if Rod Serling had wandered into the story and said something like "submitted for your approval." You know, like it was that, and maybe because it was from a similar era, but it just like the story early on where it's like the second or third mission, and they see all their dead loved ones in the towns that they grew up in, and all that. I was like, this is a Twilight Zone episode.
Yep, we're gonna run with that in a sec.
Ray Bradbury Theater ran from 1985 to 1990, and Dan Aykroyd was a guest star because he is into this kind of shit. And the Twilight Zone, Ray Bradbury was a script writer for.
There you go.
Makes 100% sense.
That explains a lot.
Yep, because we're thinking that one. I'm thinking the idea of the Martian blue lightning balls in general.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was going to talk about like the different waves of society that comes, but like there's that whole segment where the priests come, they get their own rocket.
Right.
Because of course they would.
The guy hurls himself off a cliff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, we must come in the shape that they would expect us. And they build like this sparse church.
Yeah.
And the lightning balls are like, we're good, bro.
We don't need this shit.
We don't have bodies. We're fine. Right. You can move on. Please stop trying to kill yourself. And yeah, like that, like what a Twilight Zone episode. Like the folly of mankind right there to think that they're so high and mighty that these otherworldly things need them.
Yeah, a lot of these stories I was reading, and I was like, I could picture the Twilight Zone episode.
Mm-hmm. The one with Tommy, where the Martian comes in the shape of the loved one that you want to see most.
Oh, yeah. It comes as like their son, right? And then it remanifests itself as like the daughter in the town. And then the townspeople all turn on it because they all see it as its thing. Yeah, that would definitely. That's like what's the classic, like the Martians are on Elm Street or whatever it's called, the one where the whole town turns on each other.
Yes.
That the end of that story had very much had that. The monsters are on Maple Street.
Okay.
Yeah, and the end of that story very much had that vibe of like neighbors turning on neighbors because of their own perceptions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Martian itself, knowing like, no, don't take me to the city. I'm going to be trapped. Don't take me to the city. I'm going to be trapped. Please don't trap me in the city. Fuck you. You did this to me. Like I told you. I don't know many Twilight Zone titles of episodes. I know the one where they turn in, like they do plastic surgery because she looks like a human, and they do plastic surgery to make her look like a pig.
Right.
There's To Serve Man, which like everybody should know.
Yeah.
The Simpsons' take on that was the best.
The Simpsons' take was very good.
Humor.
Yep. And then I'm sure there's one or two others I can think of if I get long enough, or have more of this sherry. But you know what? I didn't realize the crossover.
It gets better the more you drink of it.
Well, what doesn't? Mike's face.
Is tolerable the word you're looking for, or
it's like wine.
So I used to say it's nonplussed, but I've been recently informed it's nonplussed.
That's how I've always pronounced it.
So I made it more French than it is. Mike is nonplussed currently.
Yeah, I the more sips I take, I don't hate it. I'm not like I don't think grimacing anymore as I drink it, but I'm not impressed. No.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Well, I appreciate you picking it up and letting us try something. It's not absinthe.
No.
Should we just pour it into the canal?
I will have a little bit more of it since there's just a little bit more to go around here.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about the connections to Twilight Zone. Didn't realize the Dan Aykroyd crossover, friend of Cast Dan.
Yeah. Dan, call us up, man.
Yeah, it's been a while, buddy.
Yeah.
He's been very busy since Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Oh, he's got that TV show, too, The Unexplained.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Unexplained. Whatever, he does one of those shows on History Channel.
About the occult and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it on Discovery Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Did you guys have a favorite short story or one that you absolutely hated? I guess we'll go there because we've already talked about the ideas.
I hated the very first one in the book. I was trying to stay positive as I was reading it. And I was also trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, this is just not the tone I expected. And it didn't...
That was like the first thing you said to me in the hallway.
It didn't feel very serious to me.
Yeah.
It was this like weirdness with like, the Martians aren't even like... They don't even think it's weird that the humans showed up. They think the humans are just Martians that have gone crazy. Yep. And then it got weirder from there where they're like hallucinating. They're like, we just manifest our hallucinations and whatever. And the guy just shoots all the astronauts dead because he's like, it's the only cure for it. I was like, okay, I mean, whatever. There's some ideas here. But in retrospect, it felt like a real cockamamie weird-ass story. And it was very much out of step with the tone of the rest of the book. Like, the rest of the book then got a lot more serious about its world building and ideas, and that first story to me still just feels like way out of place.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. The whole when they go to the Martian house, the lady, he writes it like such a stereotypical 1950s housewife kind of thing.
Is that the Illa story? YLLA?
Maybe, yes.
Because that's the one that you and I were talking about briefly in the hall.
Yeah.
And I was very confused by that whole tone. Right. And I forgot about it until you said it.
That cockamamie might be the best way to describe it because he's got so much crap going on. It's like he just took 10 pounds of shit and shoved it into a 5-pound bag. And
dead on.
It's just... It was an interesting idea. Oh, they project manifestations of their mental illnesses and things like that where you can see it with telepathy. That's why they think they're not real. But then... Like, they wind up in their own, like, hometown in Illinois or whatever, and it's just, the whole thing is like, the fuck is going on here?
It's his poor way to start the book. I mean, what saved I was feeling very negative after that story, and then what saved it for me is the one where it's the second or third mission, and then they see all their, like, dead loved ones.
Yeah, that's the second mission.
Something is off, and, like, the one guy, I think it's the captain, is trying to warn them. And then even he sees his old family, and they're like, come on, like, Mother's got lunch ready, And I was like, now I was getting Twilight Zone vibes. And I got back into it, and I did enjoy the rest of the book.
We have a second chance up here.
Right.
And
then they all they died. And my favorite part is that it's not explained either. Like, they don't bother, like, explaining what that was, where that came from, what happened to those. It's just left as this Twilight Zone-ish mystery. And I thought that was, I was hooked at that point. But it took till then. That first story, I was like, damn, this is weird.
But you remind me of something else that I have a hard time with him, is he can't write dialogue or people that are believable. Like, oh, where's the congratulations? Where's the handshakes? Like, who fucking says stuff like this?
1950s America did.
Nobody talked like that ever in real life. But the way he writes it, they all feel like tin soldiers and like somebody's like playroom. The whole thing feels like a kid playing in a sandbox. And that's the part of it where... You might love the fact that Bradbury is basically a grown-up child writing his like fantasies on a piece of paper. That's great.
Right.
But at least write it believably, for fuck's sake. I mean,
I hear you, and that's a completely valid point, because I thought that a lot of the dialogue did sound like Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah.
In which the dialogue is atrocious. It's about mood and atmosphere and ideas, but the dialogue is just absolutely atrocious in those old shows.
Say, Millie, how about you get yourself into the kitchen and make us a drink?
Well, you know what? I'll say it's not. And then he popped a toe into her mouth.
There's a reference.
Maybe Dr. O can read some Bradbury.
There you go.
Like, I shouldn't do these things.
Worst sex scenes ever.
Yeah, actually, may have made me celibate for a month after reading that book. As much as I liked Walkaway, I just could not.
I'll never go to an onsen now, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Well, sorry.
Adam was incapable of performing his husbandly duties because he couldn't get the image of the toe in the mouth.
I just couldn't.
His husbandly
just couldn't.
duties. That's very Bradbury.
That is,
right there.
Yeah. In my smoking jacket and velvet pipe. I'm sorry, dear. It's just not going to happen tonight. Why don't you pour me another sherry, and I'll sit by the fire while you talk to your rabbit.
Perhaps I'll beat you later if I don't like it.
And what are you doing out of the kitchen? Yeah.
Why are my hallways not dusted?
Nerds of the Old Republic does not endorse traditional life, or any of that bullshit. Go fuck yourself if you think that's what women deserve.
We're not fans of the trad.
No.
Well, we got way
And
too political.
We
Thanks,
did.
Bradbury.
Well,
Jesus,
Bradbury
we should
does
avoid
that.
this stuff.
Bradbury does that, right? Like people go to Mars to run away from the world.
Yeah.
And then they send the poor, the destitute, the lowly, because of course they
Right.
get to come second, like welcome to
Right.
immigration.
Yeah.
And then the rich people come after all the hard work is done.
Yeah.
And that's when things get fucked up, is when the rich people
It's a
come.
very political book.
For sure.
You
can't avoid it.
There's an entire chapter about, black people leaving in
Yeah.
mass and the way in which, in the localized story it's telling, the villain of that story is like trying to stop it from happening by like holding them to contracts and all that stuff. It's very, very much a political book beginning to end in many different ways, for sure.
Yeah.
I love how affordable he makes rocket travel feel. Like anyone can get
Sure.
a rocket.
They all go to Mars and then they all come back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like it's nothing. Not a
right.
problem.
That's why Mars dies, because Earth is dying and they all decide to come back. So it's actually a really good point. Because it's a science fiction classic, right? But there's not really a ton of science in it.
No.
At least not hard science.
Definitely
I
not.
mean, it really is more of a fantasy novel, I feel like, because things like space travel are handled almost just like magically.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You literally just like show up. There's no like deep sleep.
Right.
There's no problems traveling between here and Earth.
It's
Yeah.
1950s television style space adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That last story is about the family that flees Earth,
Yeah.
basically to become like, the Adam and Eve family of Mars at the very end, right? And they do it in some kind of like little spaceship that the father found and kept hidden for like 20 years, and it's like this. So the family just pops into this little spaceship and flies all the way to Mars.
I just found this rocket ship. I'll keep it at the shed.
Yeah. Next up, we fly to Mars.
Yes,
right? Like that's where we're
exactly,
at, pretty much. It makes me think of the DeLorean from Back to the Future, actually, tucked in a
Yeah.
cave. But
It's a spaceman.
yep.
He's gonna change forms.
Which is introduced by that pulp comic
Yeah.
of the spaceman, and then
That's
he
right.
busts through it.
That's
so
right.
at least there's threads of Bradbury through a lot of like good science fiction. Not that it's not good. I enjoyed it. Would I read it again? No, I'm not going to read it again.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. That brings you back to I like the influence Bradbury has on the genre. I just don't like his writing personally.
Yeah. Was there any ones that like you did like or stood out to you since Mike got his say?
It all kind of becomes like just a melange of like sameness to me.
Yeah, I had that problem too, actually. And episodic writing happens to me when I read episodic writing.
Yeah.
There's a couple that stand out because like I really got into it for whatever reason. Like I was interested in the ideas, or maybe there's a little bit more imagery than others, but a lot of it did blur together. There's probably only 4 or 5 that stand out to me in the whole book.
Exactly. I didn't find it super compelling. It was nice to look back on a different time, a different era, and a different way of telling those kinds of stories, but I'll take it for what it is. It's foundational and not something that I need to go back and read all the time.
Yeah.
I would agree with that for sure. I think you want to read it from that lens. You know what I mean? Even if I were to recommend this book to somebody else, it would be with the caveat, like, this is what science fiction was. This is a classic because of how important it was at the time.
Yeah.
Read it from that lens. Don't read it the same way you would read like a really good piece of literature now,
I would recommend other contemporaries like Asimov or Philip K. Dick or whatever if you want to get a more literary experience in sci-fi and fantasy.
Absolutely agreed.
But even they were influenced by Bradbury to an extent too, and vice versa. So
Yeah, and I think, it's worth remembering, like you said, I think maybe Mike said it, that it's only recently that sci-fi fantasy has really been seen as like a serious genre. Prior to, it was a pulp genre that you spent $5 on the paperback and you got your trade paperback, and that was
exactly. Like English professors and literary critics, it was a genre that was scoffed at, I feel like, for many, many decades. And now that's changed very much. Like now you have the reverse sort of thing happen where you have literary authors who are writing in those genres, and it's being taken very seriously. But I feel like that's a fairly recent development.
well, all the Victorians died, and the people who grew up on that kind of writing started to realize that maybe that's not the end all be all.
Yeah. Well, there's still some people who
I know there's a few
are
among
around
us, there's
that.
a few among us. Yep.
Yeah, that's all they teach is the British literature of the 17 to 1800s.
That was peak. I was one person.
Yeah.
All this conversation reminds me how much I just miss boring politics and like
Yeah, right. Like this was the thing to worry about.
Yeah.
I
Exactly, right?
agree.
Like that I miss that. I really do.
Yeah.
Pour one out.
Yeah, pour it out for boring politics, yo.
Yeah.
Can I pour out the rest
You
of
can
the
pour it
shit?
out. You don't have to finish that. I'm
Some form of it.
I'm not suffering through, but I'm going to finish my first.
I don't know.
Glass and
I
that's
don't
that.
mind it. It's not bad.
It kind of gave me a headache.
Ah.
It's always funny to me listening back to episodes. There's a very common theme of like myself and Adam having a very different drink experience.
100%. Yeah. And that's why there's three of us. We have balance.
It's a
There's balance in
proud
the force.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the next cocktail might be a little bit different. So I don't know if you want to. Is it time?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You want to preview it? Go ahead.
Well, I guess that means when we catch you guys next time at Nerd Nation, we're going to be enjoying the excitement of the Tron universe and the recent edition, Tron Ares, and we'll be drinking a Tron-inspired, AI-generated cocktail. Suck it, all you anti-AI people out there. They make good drinks. And that's what we're doing next.
I like how you refer to the AI as plural. They.
Yes.
As if they're omnipresent.
Well, they... I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it as more of like the pronouns for an indefinite gender. Like,
Yeah,
there is no gender for AI. It is what
true.
it is.
Yeah. Until you're embodied into a human warrior who...
Looks just like Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Well...
Should we do recommendations as well?
Oh, I thought we already did.
I mean, we can...
Sort of
let's
the whole
solidify
episode
it.
is- yeah, we should lock
Yeah.
it up. I have a feeling that there's going to be some no's, so I'll be the yes. I feel
Oh, okay.
I feel like
Shocking.
there were some really good stories here. I'm not just saying
Yeah.
that to be diplomatic. The ones that I mentioned are ones that I actually really did enjoy. I didn't mean relatively to the rest of the book. I mean I liked those stories genuinely, and I feel like especially if you're interested in the genre of science fiction, it's kind of good to understand like what influenced it, where it came from, and so if for no other reason than seeing the exhibit in the museum, it's at least good for that. So I would be a yes.
I'm a...
6, 7?
God, yeah. 6? No, sorry. I'm going to say no. It is interesting to know your roots, but I think life is too short to read all the old stuff if you like the new stuff.
Fair.
True. I'm gonna shock the world right now, and I'm gonna go yes, but with a very specific caveat. Get the book, get a real nice edition of it, read somewhere randomly, read a few pages, and then you can tell everybody you own the Martian Chronicles. You've read, quote unquote, the Martian Chronicles. And it's going to look really nice on your bookshelf when you're trying to be pedantic and pretend like you know everything about foundational sci-fi.
Put it right next to your burn-proof copy of Fahrenheit 451.
Yep.
Or, inversely, the copy you must burn a match on in order to remove the ash to read the book of Fahrenheit 451. Both interesting takes. Yeah. I think that's where we're at, folks. You do you. Indecisive yes and no's here, but looking forward to seeing you for all things Tron and digging back to my childhood here for a little bit too, and finding out what this light cycle is. I hope there's like glow-in-the-dark bracelets.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
We are not on the same level of entertaining, are we? That's okay.
No, I'm going to have to go look through the kids' stuff now.
Give me your bracelet! No, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Damn it.
It's daylight anyways. It's the middle of the day. So, until we talk to you folks about Tron, cheers, nerds.
Cheers.